Smart 24, driving business.
Good evening to you tuned in to Smart 24 TV. Thank you for joining us for this live broadcast this very Monday, the 28th of August 2023. Before we get right into it, here's a quick look at what topped our focus tonight. Coming up in business today, Bank of Uganda considers replacing the 1,000 shilling note with respective coins, citing expenses. Traders decry inconvenience. In Kasese, 700 hectares of rice farmland bound to dry up as Gati Company roadworks interrupts water supply. Up to 8 capped Tilenga landfills, 2 thermal desorption units for EnviroServe and Ruwero Industries are set to aid pollution control. You're welcome once again. Thank you for joining us. Now, to begin with and looking at what's new with President Museveni's decision in regards to second-hand clothes, following President Museveni's decision to restrict importation of electrical utilities such as cables and second-hand clothes in an attempt to provide ample room for growth for the local textile and energy industry, members of parliament have counteracted his decision, citing numerous jobs that are online besides tax to government. The decision follows commissioning of 16 industries in Mbale Industrial Park last week. Samla Hanifa has more.
While commissioning factories in Mbale Industrial Park last week, President Museveni emphasized the Buy Uganda, Build Uganda policy, which Cabinet passed in 2014. And so he directed all government agencies to only buy electronic appliances from the local factories starting next month.
I have ordered all these government bodies, they must buy these meters from starting 1st of September. The Minister of Energy is here. The cables, the meters must be bought from our factories here and the ones in Kampala.
We have had an outcry in this country. People are really complaining about the quality of products, most electrical products from, for example, to be specific, China. Some people are importing poor quality products. Be cables, be what, and you'd find in most cases maybe we don't trust our own. If you check Rwanda, even some of us who have been keen on quality, some of the cables, like Cable Corporation of Uganda, they are one of the best cables in this country. But you find, because those other ones, the substandard ones from which are imported are cheap, people resort to them.
Exporters, on the other hand, have differed from the president's view, calling it a promotion of foreigner businesses, since most of these factories are owned by foreigners and money is repatriated back to their countries.
It becomes an import substitution when you're doing things yourself, when you're working with Ugandans to put up the factories, when you're working with Ugandans to do everything. Because at the end of the day, President Museveni has been crying of hemorrhage where all the foreign exchange is picked and taken by those foreigners. But he has continued to favor them against Ugandans.
The issue of dealing away with second-hand clothes, commonly known as mivumba, lawmakers think is a rash decision since the industry employs many Ugandans who sell clothes at an affordable price to the low-income earners.
Very many of our people in the country are trading in these second-hand clothes. Many are surviving on these kinds of businesses. And when you look at the industrial park, the factories that are in the industrial park in Bale, these are more of doing assembling because they're importing all the raw materials, they're importing sheets of clothes, and all they do is cut and knit them into clothes. But actually they are not adding value, they are not using our cotton here.
Now for mivumba, you need to coexist. You can, for example, say you are importing but putting also a lot of tax on them, okay? But let them come so that they find a way of briefly competing with the local industry. The moment you simply say all of them stopped, no, that would be a problem because the factories around may not produce enough fabric in any case at exorbitant prices. But two, they will now gain a monopoly where they can decide to sell whatever, at whichever price. So they should be given some kind of competition.
As a country, we do not even have a single industry to make toothpicks as a country. And now here we want to ban the second-hand clothes. Before we do that, let us first find alternatives here in the country. I can tell you, without fear of contradiction, 95% of our people put on second-hand clothes. So if you're going to ban second-hand clothes, what are they going to put on? A number of things, including in the president's house, are second-hand clothes.
Buy Uganda, Build Uganda is a policy geared towards promoting locally manufactured goods and services. However, it is still facing many challenges like the poor quality products as well as the negative attitude towards the local products. Samlanifa, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Let's now proceed to Kasese. Rice farmers in Chikura village, Kasese district, are confused and devastated as more than 700 hectares of rice farmland is drying up. Road construction works by Gati Consultant Company are primarily the cause for the cut-off water supply as flow from the canal to the farms is interrupted. The farmers have as usual called on to government to intervene, but it's been in vain. We have details.
Rice growers in Kikura village, Hima Town Council, were previously getting irrigation water for their rice from the area canal, have reached out to government for help as their produce is drying up because the company that was contracted to work on the road and the canal has deliberately stopped the waters from reaching their gardens. They stopped the water supply, yet the rice wasn't ready for harvesting. We got loans from banks, so we need government's intervention.
Our rice has dried up. We've lost a lot of money. We have loans to pay. I don't know where to go from this. We need hope.
According to the farmers, the construction company is soliciting money from the farmers in exchange for their irrigation water, and since they stopped giving money, the water has been stopped.
Those that do irrigation want money. If we don't get money, the pipes are going to be closed. We collected 1 million, but we have not seen them. I think they failed to share the money.
Mukole saidi ngamazi saidi gatambule mutuka saidi gadde saidi gatambule baga nti kyo feto twako magezi
them to at least divert the water on one end. They refused. We asked for culverts for the water to cross to the locals. They still refused.
Zephyr Mubingwa, the Deputy Resident District Commissioner for Busongora County, says they have been holding meetings between the company and the farmers, and they agreed that the water should be released. But since then, this has not been done.
Having meetings with the farmers and then the contractor. And we recently had one the last 2 weeks, and we agreed that intermittently the contractor should release water to the farmers as he also works on the channel.
Namugera Catherine, Samlani Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
We now head to Kabale. Kabale, Rubanda district and broader Kigezi sub-region have succumbed to relentless drought following heavy destructive rains in May. The crisis has taken a toll on crops and ushered in an yielding dry season. More concern has been raised over food security, driving factors such as deforestation and land degradation. Norbert Ndiamhachi has more of this report.
Farmers in Rubanda district are grappling with the prolonged drought as take departure from their familiar weather pattern. Concerns of an impending famine loom large as the region's typical early August rains have failed to pour. The disappointment further extends as seedlings wither under the relentless dry spell. While government contends the instance of irrigation, efforts have been tended towards high multiplier effect crops as opposed to demands of the large sustenance farmers.
Umushana tukura mu bubire twarenza bwe kufiraga konke kigenderwa kigeze ntibone turamanya oba ekibiriho nenshi konke bintu.
The sun is the apparent season that is known for rain, so we are uncertain because the crops are drying up. Even with the lake around, there is no clear sign of rain.
Green Environment Promotion highlights just how unfortunate farmers in Rubanda and Kigezi at large are attributing the problems to environmental degradation as catchment areas such as swamps are reclaimed, while deforestation and plastic pollution add to the burden.
But we as people, of Uganda and the world at large, we must be blamed for all this, havoc that is really happening. All the swamps have been reclaimed, the trees have been cut. People really do not mind about, the environmental protection and conservation. There is a lot of plastic pollution. The soils have been degraded. So we as farmers, we as locals, from Kigezi, Rwanda, Kabale, Kisoro, Rukunjili, must admit that we are experiencing, havoc, due to climate change. My advice to people is that we really have to up the game to ensure, the environmental initiatives, protection and conservation, adopted by everybody. Because minus that, then I think we are yet to see a lot of havoc. I must admit, most people in the rural communities at the moment are experiencing drought because those that, planted beans.
Akampuira Prosembabazi, Rwanda woman member of parliament, agrees the crisis is not only locally concentrated, but the current is the first of its kind. She adds that this follows heavy rains that caused a lot of challenges. As such, commits to educate farmers on better farming methods in light of climate change.
The issue of drought, I think, is not only here, but in Rwanda it is so strong. It is so strong. I think we had never experienced this. And we have experienced this after experiencing the heavy rains. We are at a time where things are not easy. When we experienced the heavy rains, that brought a lot of challenges, and now we are experiencing the drought. The too much sunshine, that is hot. I had not seen this in Rwanda before. But as a woman member of parliament, I continue to educate my women that we have to get another way of doing farming. And that's what government is emphasizing. And we can only teach these women, because you see, for me in my district, some of this knowledge they don't have. First of all, my women are very, very positive towards working. One thing I want to tell government or to tell other leaders is that if there are women who are hardworking, women of Rwanda are hardworking, plus.
For the past 4 months, Greater Kabale, encompassing Rubanda, Kabale, Ruchiga and various areas within border Kigezi sub-region have succumbed to ruptured agricultural activity as many navigate the almost new normal climate change, pressing more the need for sustainable solutions and adaptive measures. Norbert Ndiamhachi, Masi Katsime for Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Let's now shift our focus to Moyo District. Vendors at Raropi Main Market in Moyo District, West Nile, have chosen to strike due to persistent poor state of the market. Despite district's improved revenue collection, the market is choking on challenges such as congestion and lack of shelter, as well as sanitation facilities. The strike stands to serve as a clear call for necessary improvements to be made. Raropi Main Market stands as a unifying hub, drawing people from West Nile, including refugee population, along with visitors from Acholi and Lango sub-regions. A joint call by vendors and Raropi sub-county leaders now resonates, appealing for the Ugandan government's intervention in rejuvenating the market in Moyo District. The absence of essentials such as latrines, vendor shelters, and domestic water supply has disrupted daily operations, prompting this urgent plea for revitalization.
That's why the sunshine was suffering. We need the government to add more latrines so to can accommodate all these people, because we are many, the latrines are few, the short calls are few, everything is small now. We need water in the market here so that we can access the market. Because of this sunshine, we need to drink water every time.
At the moment we move around, there is no water for drinking, and cannot believe that people stay there all day without drinking water. So indeed we requesting the government of the Republic of Uganda, because if you take this market, it brings a lot of revenue, a lot of money every month. So we think this is the right time, and we are really crying for it.
Lolopi's Sub-County Speaker, Godfrey Draparaku, highlights that the market serves a substantial revenue source for both the Sub-County and Moyo District. He emphasizes the need for its enhancement to further facilitate business activities.
This place is serving all categories of people who comes from Arua, from Kampala. They come from various places in Uganda, and also outside, sometimes even outside Uganda, that is Congo, because they bring also their clothing for sale, and also Sudan. We know this is a town council still, which needs really support, serious support, in order to ensure that it changes its meaning of being a town council. Because when you say this is a town, you try to see the areas where the trading activity is taking place is not good.
Lilian Masia, the Executive Director of West Nile Women Advocate Platform, urges humanitarian organizations to step in as the market benefits both refugees and Ugandans alike.
Especially people who come from far, they arrive here every Saturday. By Saturday, they're already here and they have already taken up the spaces. By the time the hosts come in, they don't find where to sit. At times people sit even on the verandas of the latrines that are in the market, leave alone the dilapidated condition of the market. So we really want to appeal to UNHCR and all the agencies that Uganda is a refugee hosting community and we are living with these refugees. We really want to request them to come and support this market, to expand this market, to look at the condition of this market.
Rona Nahabwe, Samuel Chirimonda, Smart 24 TV, Business Today. Now, while the blue economy remains one of the least attention-driving segments, fisheries communities bank on lakes such as Albert, Victoria, and Edward for survival. From today's police briefing, fishermen that traverse Lake Albert were robbed by DRC assailants, taking away their engines, fuel tanks, and mobile phones. On intervention by Marine Police, 9 victims and 3 boats without engines were among the rescued items. Take a look.
We believe these were assailants from the DRC, and they managed to rob 3 engine, fuel tanks, and mobile phones from Ugandan fishermen. Of course, our police marines responded and managed to rescue at least 9 victims, and the 3 boats were recovered but without engines. So the RDC in the area has contacted his counterpart on the other side of the DRC to help us coordinate and work towards the recovery of the boat engines and the other items that were robbed. Because of this, we have increased on the manpower deployment of our Marines unit on Lake Albert to ensure that such acts of piracy and robbery against our fishermen, of course, does not happen. They were in uniform. We cannot determine at this stage whether they believe they belong to the Congolese army or not. Investigation will determine. During that week, we also recovered 3 guns.
Containing oil pollution load. Energy and waste are among the contributors to greenhouse gas emissions that pollute the pollution, with a load expected to increase to 235.7 metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalents by 2050. From 90.1 in 2015, EnviroServe, one of the contractors to manage the environmental activity in the oil and gas sector, confirms key developments on its facilities in the Tilenga project despite a couple of challenges for full operation. Up to 8 landfills to curb pollution are expected besides the thermal dispersion unit already in place. Take a look.
EnviroServe is one of the key contractors in the oil and gas sector to partake in environmental management through waste handling. It denotes facility progress in the Tilenga project amidst challenges. While it intends to have 8 well-capped landfills that would, among the many importances, contain liquid waste as need grows, it currently cites high capital expenditure, shortage of necessary material, and expert labor to effect progress.
We will construct a landfill as the need arises, but we intend to have 8, and we intend that after, when production starts, in the next 30 years' time to come, we would have developed all the area we intend to develop in this area. So we're sitting in 100 acres of land, but so far we develop approximately 25% of this facility. But it doesn't mean that we're going to develop all the 100 acres. No.
From the updated nationally determined contributions, 2020 mitigation target looks at 27.4% reduction, below business as usual. Energy and waste among contributors at 13%. With emissions profile projected at 148.8 metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalents in 2030 from 90.1 in 2015, and the extractives a point of concern. Petroleum Authority banks on the catalogue of environmental policies such as the National Oil and Gas Policy, National Oil Spill Contingence Plan, and others to enforce sanity, while EnviroServe seeks more solutions from the refinery.
Our policies, our laws, and the frameworks in place. So we do have a number of frameworks that are specifically in place to guide our regulation of environment protection, to ensure environment protection during the oil and gas activities. This starts from our National Oil and Gas Policy that has a specific objective on protection of the environment, our petroleum laws, our regulations on health and safety, and the National Environment Management Act.
With 30 years, if all goes well, we should be able to utilize all this area. And when it is done, we should be able to do a post-closure monitoring. Post-closure monitoring means there will be no waste coming through that gate. You get the point? So what we shall do, we shall cap the landfill. We shall cover the landfill. This is what we call the high density polyethylene. This is a product from petrochemical industry. I'm quite happy that we are going to have our petrochemical industry here. So some of these materials will be producing them from our refinery byproduct. So we shall be able to supply to other countries.
While conservation is a major obligation, the oil and gas sector has contended with operational dynamics presented, for instance, in the close to offshore drilling demands on Lake Albert, which in turn has attracted high capital expenditure.
Through a slanting well. But that slanting well has limitations. It may not go far. You can't slant more than 7 kilometers. But the lake itself is 60 kilometers. The Ugandan part is 30 kilometers. The DRC part is 30 kilometers. So we need vertical wells. And currently there is no solution for drilling a vertical well in the lake. A solution is being attempted by one of the companies that was licensed in Ngasa, that is Olanto. But our estimate is that to drill a vertical well within Lake Albert, it may not cost less than $50 million. That's how costly it can be to drill a vertical well within Lake Albert.
The thermal desorption units at both Luero Industries and EnviroServe are set to offer extra mileage in environmental protection, offsetting on-site disposal and probable incineration, all key contributors to the pollution load. Ivan Tibenkana, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
All right, now looking at coining the 1,000 shilling note, Bank of Uganda is considering replacing the market-dominant 1,000 shilling note with a respective coin in effort to reduce the escalating printing expenses. While some of the legislators applaud the decision, traders cite inconvenience and a devalued shilling. The phased discontinuation of the 1,000 shilling note beset by frequent reprinting due to the heavy soiling contribute to the currency reform as part of the fiscal consolidation measures backed by the International Monetary Fund. Take a look. IMF's June letter to Uganda's officials highlighted rising banknote printing costs, prompting market study for potential coin substitution. For instance, in the 2021-2022 annual report, Bank of Uganda reported a 16.5% increase amounting to 24.4 billion shillings in currency issuance costs, primarily due to heightened demand for cash post-lockdown and rising inflation. With expenses rising from 147.5 billion shillings to 171.9 billion shillings, thus Bank of Uganda's plan to gradually discontinue the 1,000 shilling paper note due to its frequent reprinting caused by heavy soiling, despite its widespread use in transactions.
Because of the durability of the coin compared to the paper notes, these lower denomination notes are used by the people at the bottom of the pyramid, so the frequency of usage is quite high. It rarely comes back to the banking system. By the time it comes back to the banking system, is mutilated and what have you. So you find that the replacement ratio of these notes is very, very high and therefore expensive. Whatever you deposit in into a commercial bank and is later on brought to Bank of Uganda, most of it ends up as being cancelled. And yet printing of the currency notes is the cost of printing is very high. So we believe that coining might offer a better solution than printing.
Bank of Uganda seizing out the 1,000 shilling note, I think it's not a bad idea. We need to go back on the drawing board and analyze the cost. How much money will we be saving as a country? Because right now we are looking at how to cut costs. How can the government cut on costs? And what is the cost of printing a coin and the cost of printing this 1,000 shilling note? So we need to compare the two and find out the opportunity cost. Which one can we forego? If the cost of printing the 1,000 note is quite high, then I think it is okay. Bank of Uganda can proceed and phase out this note if they are a burden to us, because you might find the cost is much more than the value of the note, which is not worth it. So
kakaddiwa bubi nnyo enusu weeri ate nange nakyewuunya lwaki sente zifaanaganya nooti y'emu nga zonna ziri mu katale.
I actually wish it was phased out earlier. It's counterfeit, inferior quality, deteriorates quickly. Authorities must decide between coins or paper. Having both isn't viable.
As legislators lament the shilling's diminishing worth, unable to meet essential needs, they stress the potential disruption coins may pose for traders. Legislators view this as an opportunity to encourage the adoption of digital transactions like other developing nations.
If that coin had really less value, because if it was 100, 200, that one would be okay. But you see, the money we use in Uganda, it is really, it has lost value. In the past, that coin would be really strong. So someone would carry few coins, but now we have to carry so many of them. So that's where the challenge is. And I think Bank of Uganda should look at checking the value of our money. We bring it down again, so that the value of our money is really is strong, so that someone does not have to carry coins in thousands, 1,000 coins, 10,000 coins, so that if we are to carry coins, we are just carrying pocket change coins.
Coins can be used longer and they don't get worn out, but the coins are difficult to carry. I can imagine how much people will carry if they are carrying coins to spend. It also points to the fact that the actual value of 1,000 shillings now is not reasonable in the market. If you have 1,000 shillings, as if you have no money, he cannot buy you a meal, and that is where the problem is. We should be looking at that. What is the value of our money in our economy? that should worry all of us. It's not the notes, it's not the coins, it's not the amount of money that we have, but what that money can purchase if we have it. So it also worries me.
The choice to eliminate 1,000 Ugandan shillings is entirely wrong. Initially, of course, introduced by them, and now removing it lacks coherency and rationale.
While specific details about the timeline for phasing out the notes and the denominations targeted for replacement haven't been disclosed, the 1,000 shilling coin issued in 2012 to commemorate Uganda's independence has remained in circulation.
I am not very conversant with the timetable for that, but I think the plan is just to coin the 1,000 as a cost reduction measure.
Well, there you have it. Thank you for having joined us tonight for Business Today. I'm Rana Habwe, together with Winnie Wiz and Akawochi for the sign language. Before I sign out officially, here's what topped our focus tonight. Coming up in Business Today, Bank of Uganda considers replacing the 1,000 shilling note with respective coins, citing expenses. Traders decry inconvenience. In Kasese, 700 hectares of rice farmland bound to dry up as Gati Company roadworks interrupts water supply. Up to 8 capped Tilenga landfills, 2 thermal desorption units for EnviroServe and Ruwero Industries are set to aid pollution control. Thank you once again for having joined us tonight. Please join us again tomorrow to watch Business Today and be up to date with the latest business news within the region, in Uganda, the region, and internationally. You have a good evening.